Hello everyone, Singularity here, bringing you another game from the StarCraft II ladder. I'm playing down here on the bottom side of Metalopolis as the blue Zerg. My opponent, Robot, is playing on the left side, in the left spawning position as the red Protoss. Now, I don't know what to bring. I don't know what to say to you guys. I mean, I know I don't have a lot of you guys following me at this point, but any suggestions that you guys would have, stuff that you'd like to see, let me know. I mean, for now, I'm bringing you games from the ladder, my own games from the ladder. If there's something else that you definitely prefer to see, let me know, because I can't know if you don't tell me. And right now, I haven't exactly had a lot of you speaking up. So, at this point, we're spawning on close positions here. The close positions by air, not quite so by ground. It's closer between these two, or these two, by ground than these two here. Plus, you don't want to walk your units along the side here, because any ranged units can just kind of take pot shots at them along the way. Now, I did that little trick where once your Overlord gets close enough to the building to see it, you move it back right away. The Overlord has more sight range than the building does, and it doesn't end up seeing the Overlord. However, then you know right away, as the Zerg player, where your opponent is when that happens. As you can see from the waypoints, I obviously know that my Protoss opponent is right there. Now, he is setting a probe to chase after the drone. I, as you can see, don't really care that much. I just looked at how many hit points it had, and go back to doing what I was doing over here. At some point I do actually move it because, well, this is getting annoying. If you pass it through the cloud like this, you can actually prevent the drone or the probe from being able to properly follow it. Now, I got it hidden in the gas right here, in the vision blocker. It can't see anywhere here, but nothing can see it except from out here. So that's a good place to leave a scout hidden, if you're able to get it there without, yeah. So, at this point, I've got the Zerglings out. He's going for a pretty standard build. He's got one gateway and warp gate being researched right away. He seems to be saving his chrono boost. I don't know what he's saving it for, but he's saving it. At this point, the Queen comes out. I'm going for my expansion. Very standard play overall. Now, he does have a probe out here. A probe scout, probably, that was in my base originally. And by moving my Zerglings up here, I actually do see it. Just at that moment. And it starts moving just at that moment. I go, okay, I want to see what's going on down here then. So I bring the Zerglings back right away. Now, he probably saw, yeah, he saw that the second hatchery was coming up. The Zerglings come in behind it, on the creep. That probe is dead. However, it did see that there was no further tech being built at that exact moment. Now, I'm kind of waiting a little bit before I send him back to scout some more. But right now, he's got the Zealot blocking the choke point. And now out goes the scout. See, okay, what do we got up? What do we got up here? Another pylon going down. We got 2 gateways there. Another gateway there. We've only got 3 gateways. I'm trying to see if there's a 4th one somewhere along the line, but the the drone isn't exactly in the best position right now. Now, I try to hide it back in the smoke. He's like, he knows it's in there somewhere, and he finds it and kills it. But he's going for 3-gate robo. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened there, but his warp gate research is complete. He builds up he builds them into warp gates now. And starts getting ready to put down an expansion. I don't know why he went to take the minerals first, but oh, right, to get it past the Zealot. Yeah, if you if you use a harvester and you click a mineral patch that is past a place walled off by a unit, it'll actually walk right through the unit. You can use this to get in and out of the place, either from your own wall or from someone else's. Now I see this expansion going down, I say, hey, maybe I can take it down. Nope, bunch of stalkers right there. That's not going to work out so well. So, I know his expansion is going down. So I say, hey, well, this is an opportunity for me to take my own third. So 7.5 minutes taking the third expansion. Normally I would not recommend this. However, I know that he's gonna be sacrificing army to get this. So this basically is my chance. And I drone up hard right here to start saturating a little better. No, I'm not fully saturated up here, but I'm not going to be fully saturated down here either, and it doesn't really matter to me. The way I see it, I have a bunch of income. What counts? I probably have more. Sure enough, I do. He's better saturated in his main, but he's got a probe down here. Now I'm keeping both the watchtowers just so I can keep track of what's going on. You can't send a ground unit past the watchtower without it being spotted. So at this point, I've got 2 base with a third on the way. He can see this. And I'm in the process of better saturating. Working on my macro, not really harassing. Now by the way, Zerg players, you're playing a Protoss, harass. Be very harassful. Because you don't want to give him a chance to build up a large army. Because his large army is going to be better than your large army, hands down. I don't care how well I don't care how good you are with infestors and corruptors and such. His large army will be better than your large army. Assuming you're at equal levels of skill, and that there isn't a super hard counter involved. For instance, a large army of zealots without charge against a large army of roaches, well, that's different, you know? But standard armies. Anyhow. At this point, Robot's got this observer flying around, just keeping an eye on things. He hasn't seen the third base over here, but he's been building up over here. He's got some sentries that have had some time to build up some energy, and he's just overall building up his force. He's got his pylons in a row. I mean, I don't know how to say that. He does have some colossi on the way. He's just now starting extended thermal lance, which is good. I mean, this is the counter to basically every enemy ground army you'll ever face, but some more than others. Mass Roach, if you have something that a tank for the colossi will shred through them like nothing. And that's exactly what you want to have against the Zerg, against almost any Zerg army. Unless he goes mass Mutalisk. And how often does that happen against Protoss? I think I've demonstrated once before that it can work, however. So don't assume that it isn't happening. Now at this point I've got an Overseer kind of patrolling around. I know I saw the Observer earlier, which is why that Overseer is there. But I'm still macroing up my army. I'm macroing up, I keep hitting the supply cap. So at this point, I've got Corruptors on the way, because I assume I saw 3 gateways, and I assumed there was going to be a robotics facility. If a robotics facility was coming, I figure Robotics Bay was probably there. Not once, but twice, and building Colossi. I also saw the Observer, so I knew there was a robotics facility somewhere. So, I was being prepared. Now he's still kind of flying around. I mean, I didn't spread the creep all the way here, so he doesn't see that there's another base right here. Now at this point, he's macroing up as well as I am. But as you can see, actually he's macroing up better than I am. How about that? Because I still haven't got my third up and running, and I have less harvesters than he does. But he is thoroughly saturated and running out of resources. Our army values right now, if you look at the general, the worker supply and the army supply, he is definitely ahead in that regard. However, I decide, you know what, I'm going to go do some scouting with corruptors. Because I figure if I can catch some colossi spawning, hell yeah. And then sure enough, he just sends them to me. Decide, okay, hey, if you're gonna give them to me, I'll take them. But he makes the other one run away, so I decide not to pursue. Didn't lose a single corruptor. 200 hit points and 2 armor means that they can take a heck of a beating before they die. As a result of that, I was able to take down one of the colossi and able to get a good scout off. I could see that he had two robotics facilities. At least I think I saw. No, I didn't see the second one. Sorry, but I saw that he had the pylons all up in a row. If I could ever sneak some units in, I could really do a lot of damage right here. And he continues to put them in a row like this. I mean, this is just making things easier for me later on, right? At least that's the way I look at it. Now I'm getting in here, coming to take the gold expansion. So this is, well, let's just say he really needs to do something about my macro. Letting a Zerg macro up is not the best idea. Now he's seen I have this one. He's not seen that I'm building this. So at this point, he's put down another 4 gateways. He's still running off only 2 bases. 16.5 minutes into the game, 2 bases. Now he's got a death ball coming along here. He's putting a couple immortals in there too. And I see no upgrades. He has a forge. He's got no cannons, no upgrades. I don't see the point. I'm getting the level 2 carapace and missile upgrades. They'll be done by the time our armies clash. And I see the army. So I say, hey, maybe I can snipe out the colossi. Nope. There's too many stalkers there, so I'm going to distract them with the roaches. But of course, the colossi are still doing a lot of damage, and it's not like they're being ignored. Not like the corruptors are being ignored either. So I'm still trying to snipe them out as best I can. I get 3 of them already. Now meanwhile, he's taken down a decent chunk of my army. But he took down every last corruptor. Now he still had some hydras chasing him down. Now hydralisks against gateway armies and immortals, the hydralisk win because they just do so much damage. And the roaches are just there to draw fire, really. Immortals are good for eating through roaches because of the damage against armored, but Stalkers and Immortals just don't do the damage it takes to destroy the Hydralisks just because of the sheer damage output Hydralisks have. I mean, look at this. Level 2 attack upgrade. He's doing 14 damage and an attack rate faster than that of a Marine. That's huge. And they got better range, they attack air. They move pretty quick on the creep, actually. They get basically a 50% movement boost when they're on the creep. So you have a lot of trouble outrunning a Hydralisk on the creep. I mean, the Roach is just a little faster, but even still. At this point, he's taking his 3rd because, well, he really needs those resources. And remember, the Zerg macro ability. You don't want to let the Zerg run on a whole bunch of bases because he can just rebuild his army instantly. Easily and instantly because of that. Whereas the Protoss, well, the advantage is once you get to a large 200 army, your army is probably the strongest of the bunch. However, if that army should be destroyed completely, then rebuilding it is going to take you a lot longer than it'll take for the Zerg to mass up and attack. Now, the Hive is on the way, which is already some more bad news for the Protoss player. And there's a large army of Roaches and Hydralisks, a 200 army, There's also a bunch of Corruptors on the field. Count them. 12 Corruptors. Now, scouting with Corruptors, I'm able to snipe out a few more of these Colossi. Just as they're spawning. Yeah, spawn camping. Let's just say this is not something that the Protoss player wants happening to him. He's able to save that one, but this one, toast. So he lost 2 Colossi before they even left the base. One of them barely made it out, but he made it out, which means he'll be able to do his damage. Now, he's still not upgrading anything at all. And now he's coming up against this army that has remember, 2/2 upgrades. And now the Colossi are getting killed pretty quick. The Corruptors have +1 attack upgrade, which means they're doing now 22 damage a shot to these Colossi. And there's a whole bunch of them. Now, I backed off the Roaches and Hydras while the Corruptors were dealing with the Colossi, which means I actually didn't lose as much as I could have. And now they're ready to come in and deal some damage. So, he's in a bit of a situation. He's lost a fair bit of resources, more than I have. Now, he's still trying to throw the same thing at me, hoping that sooner or later he'll break through. But the thing is, I mean, just look at the... well, actually, there's not much of a discrepancy. Because he did actually do some damage. No, he didn't do some damage. I just haven't had the opportunity, or didn't let myself have the opportunity to macro up here. And I've got... yeah. Well, it says it all right here, right? Of course, I see the little icon that pops up saying I got a whole bunch of idle workers. See, oh, hey, well, I'll move them to the high yield, or, sorry, the rich minerals. High yield was the beta name for them. That's why for some reason, I watched so much in the beta that I'm still calling them high yield every now and again. But now watch as this number just jumps. Look at that. Now he's running on he's running basically on 2 base because this is mined out. This is about to be mined out. I'm still scouting with Corruptors. Probably got a couple more kills just now, but now he's got some stalkers in the base because he's like, okay, that's enough of that. He snipes down one of the Corruptors, but I'm using them to get vision on the high ground. And he kills off the or almost kills off the Hydralisk here. Decide, okay, well, and he brings in a whole bunch more. So that's apparently enough of the scouting with Corruptors. But the damage is done. He did actually, it looks like he did lose another Colossus while it was still in the base. Still not a single upgrade from the Forge, not a single cannon. I don't know why he got the Forge. 3/3 upgrades for the Roaches and Hydras are on the way. Greater Spire is built. I don't know why I'm not getting the upgrades just yet, because I'm a noob and I don't pay attention to my macro or something, but either way. Some more scouting of Corruptors. Hey, I don't see any stalkers. I'm going to look around and see what damage I can do. Hey, there's a Colossus. Let's see if I can take it down. Nope, there's the army. Back off, back off. I was able to do some damage, though. And this lets me see. Now, he's got 3 robo facilities building... well, 2 of them are building something. Now, of course, I assume there's going to be Colossi, but I don't know how far along they are, and if I leave the Corruptors in there, he's going to bring in the army, and I won't be able to, you know, do anything. But I've got a lot of Roaches and Hydralisks, and the 3/3 is about to finish. Now, I'd like to point out, 3/3 means that this army is extremely hard to stop by an unupgraded army. Look at this. 4 armor on the Roaches, 22 damage per attack. The Hydralisks don't have a base armor, but they're doing 15 damage per attack, and quite the attack speed and range. And they shred through gateway units like they're not even there. You can't use gateway units to beat an army of Hydralisks. It just doesn't work, especially when they have Roach support. So now I see this army. Okay, there's a bunch of Colossi in there. Let's see if I can distract them long enough to get the Corruptors in. Get the Corruptors in, start really dealing some damage, and back off. Let the Corruptors do their thing until they start focusing on the Corruptors. And then I start attacking again. but now I've got a lot less to worry about. Plus, he's attacking this extractor up here with the Colossi. Bit of a miss-micro on his part. Loses a bunch of his army units. But I lost all my Corruptors, and that's bad news. Now I gotta kill off these Colossi as fast as I can. Simply because I can rebuild my army, and I'm in the process of doing so. And without the Colossi, he won't be able to do as much damage. Now he's got a bunch of Stalkers still, but with 47 Roaches on the way, and 17 Hydras, which by the way, I stopped because, well, that was my supply cap. I hit the 200 cap. And so I continue to attack. Now the Roaches are arriving. He's trying to fight back, but there's just no way he's going to be able to kill that. So he goes, okay, let's see if I can take down this hatchery. Hatchery's taking lots of damage, but the Stalkers are falling. The hatchery taking damage, Stalkers are dying, the Stalkers die too fast. There's not much left of the hatchery, but he's not able to kill it. And now, there's a large army of Roaches and Hydralisks already rebuilt. Back up to 200. This is the thing about fighting a Zerg, is that they can rebuild that army, especially when they're on 5 bases, right? Whereas the Protoss, well, not so much. So he's got not so much. And he also lost more overall in the encounter. Now I don't even bother with the Corruptors. I just charge in. Headlong. Now I do actually have the level 3 flyer attack upgrade on the way. But at this point, he stuck with the tech that wasn't working for too long. He needed to get out, say, some High Templars, for example. That probably would have been enough, just with the Psystorm added in. A couple of times would have weakened these forces so much that it would have forced me to do something about it, or lose. Knowing me, I probably just would have lost. But he let this force build up. He let me macro up all I needed to. And I do have Corruptors here, which were ready in case, you know, I needed them. But I figure, you know what? Let's cripple him for the rest of the game. Let's end this game right here. Destroy all the expansions. Well, when the expansions go down, he's got no more income, basically. This is all he's got left. 3 Harvesters. Oh, by the way, they're all right here. So he decides, you know what? I gotta do something now, because this game is over if I don't. So the Corruptors come in from the side with their level 2 attack upgrade, take out all the Colossi so fast. So fast. Now I just want to get them away from the Stalkers. But that's it. All the Colossi are dead. That's pretty awesome. And Robot GG's and leaves. So at this point, really, there's a couple of factors that came in here. First of all, he only just got the level 1 attack upgrade. He did not get a single other upgrade, and he took him a long time to get even that level 1. Having those upgrades means that he can deal with these forces much more quickly with the Colossi, meaning that he won't have to worry about them when the Corruptors come in. There'll be less of these forces distracting the Stalkers, so that they can do, and that they can take out these Corruptors faster. That's one of the biggest issues that he ran into. With upgrades, maybe he could have actually beaten me. I don't know. I'm not completely sure. With this kind of force, you really need to get your upgrades. Now the other thing he could have done is a bit of a tech switch. Like, gone into... He had a Twilight Council, he had Blink. But if he had gone into, say, got some High Templars or something, or used some Dark Templars to snipe out some of these hatcheries, that would have been another option. That way you prevent me from macroing up. Now you do this, like, you get 2 or 3 Dark Templars on each hatchery, or on the drones at each hatchery, while the armies are clashing. That way it doesn't hurt your army too much, and you're preventing me from being able to build back up very quickly. So that's another option that he could have explored. But instead, well, it's what Einstein says, right? The very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Well, he was throwing the same army at me over and over as mine was getting stronger, and he was expecting something to go a little better. And he just did not have the resources to keep this up. Whereas I could have done this for a little while, as you can see. So, that's all I've got for you for this game. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed the game. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next game.